Got a question over here. You get a microphone over?
Yeah, Michael Kellerman with InSinkErator. I'm curious about micro-constituents in the effluent of that last example. Are you any testing going on?
With regard, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Any testing going on with regard to the micro-constituents at the Orange County system?
Oh, absolutely. You mean as far as how effective they're being removed, et cetera? Yes. When you talk about micro-constituents, you're kind of opening Pandora's box with regard to PCPPs, for example, personal care and pharmaceutical products. But at least in terms of meeting the requirements of the Safe Drinking Water Act, absolutely. So the answer is yes.
Dave Hagopian with PMI. In that Orange County example, why don't they take that water and bring it back into their intake rather than pump it back down into the aquifer?
Because they need the aquifer constantly injected for the seawater intrusion issue. Say they want to keep that is the main function of the aquifer as far as underground storage.
Bill?
First place, thank you for an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Favorite topic of mine. I'm going to first a comment. El Paso has been re-injecting tertiarily highly treated effluent into their drinking water aquifer for about 20 years. Didn't know if you knew that or not.
No, I was. What's the size of the facility? Do you know?
It's designed for 6 MGD, and they're doing like maybe 2 or 3 MGD.
Okay.
It's a small operation, but they are doing it.
Yeah.
The other one is just overall, I think those here in California, people are aware of what went on when San Diego wanted to put it back, put RO treated effluent into their reservoir.
Toilet to tap. Yeah.
Toilet to tap. Oh yeah. How do we overcome those types of things? This is what I would call. It's not direct reuse, it's indirect reuse of the effluent because you're putting it back in a natural system, an aquifer or a reservoir and stuff like that. But what do we need to do to start overcoming some of these barriers?
Well, there's no easy answers in my opinion. It's just a matter of educating the public, getting them involved at the very beginning so that they understand, I think, the thought process that goes into, for example, in this case, they obviously brought seawater desalting, at least in Orange County. They brought that into the equation. And I think that the public, number one, they began to realize that they're drinking dinosaur pee anyway. And that hey, if it's properly done, this water is more highly treated than the normal treatment plant. Here we are in Minnesota at the beginning of the Mississippi River. And I might add, we still have a 70 million gallon a day microfiltration system treating the Mississippi River water in Minneapolis just because of the crypto issue. But imagine how many people that water's been through by the time it gets to New Orleans. It's a matter of education. Goes right back to what David Freeman said this morning, I think. You're welcome.
For the symposium. Wanted to ask you about filtration technologies. Where, as they continue to evolve, what are they going to allow the industry to do in the future that it can't really do now?
Well, I think that the advantage of many of the filtration technologies that are in use today, although not perhaps as completely utilized as in other areas of water treatment, is that they're capable of removing virtually 100% of the, well, I shouldn't say 100%, close to 100% of specific contaminants or specific classes of contaminants. And I'm particularly concerned about the PCPPs and endocrine disruptors that have been detected in water supplies, drinking water supplies. And in my opinion, although it hasn't been proven yet, that there is any health-related effects of the tiny part per trillion concentrations of these contaminants, I think they are ultimately going to determine that there is a health effect. And in that case, these advanced filtration or contaminant removal technologies will be required. So I think that that's one direction that that we are headed as a treatment industry.
I mean, the technology right now, for all intents and purposes, it makes safe drinking water, and but the general public is still slow to kind of accept that. There's still that yuck factor, so to speak. Will the new technologies be able to kind of keep combating that and make people feel more confident in that kind of recycled water?
Well, I think the new technologies, or let's say the newly applied technologies, will do that. The onus is on the industry to educate the consumer, bring them up to speed about what works and what doesn't. I'm concerned that the media concentrates on negative effects, people getting sick from certain water contaminants and this sort of thing, and doesn't talk about the fact that we do have technologies today that would allow a homeowner to virtually take their sewage, treat it, and have perfectly acceptable drinking water. The issue that's complicating things is the fact that I believe that the regulators are going to be required to start mandating more complex treatment technologies because of the identification of new contaminant classes such as the PCPPs.
Just tell me a little bit about an event like this and what it means to you to be able to kind of speak to the industry itself about these advances.
Well, this is my first experience with IAPMO, and I'm extremely impressed. I think it's an extremely professional organization. I have presented in probably 160 venues in my career, and this certainly is close to the top in terms of being prepared, well run, running the events on time, supplying plenty of food for those of us that are attending, and it's just a highly professional organization, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk about the things I love and pursue in my career to an educated and receptive audience.
All right, thank you very much.